How y'all feeling? All right. So just so y'all know, this is very natural for me. This is what I do, perform in front of thousands of people every day. So it is an honor for me to be here with y'all today. Just a quick background, because sometimes, you know, when rappers show up at these tech shows, you know, they're like, what the hell is these rappers doing here at this tech show? There wasn't nerds before. What made them nerds now, man? Don't they got enough money, dog? Like, why they coming into our world, right? So I just wanted to clear that up, and I have to prove how much of a nerd I am before we go on. So the first Fugees album was done in 1996. Well, that's actually the second one, The Score. That became very famous. The first one was done in 1994. That album was titled Blunted on Reality. And if you go back to 1994, this album has the first acoustic rap song ever in our generation. So the idea of me creating the Fugees, Fugees was short for refugees, but I wanted it to be a band. In 1996, the first album, Blunted on Reality, of course, it sold 7 copies, I think. My mama bought one, my dad, Lauren parents, right? And so can you imagine, like, you're with a big label like Sony, and they're like, what do we do with these guys, right? Because this looks strange, you know? This don't look like street rap. You know, there's a guy playing guitar, there's a girl singing John Lennon. What do we do with this thing? So they put us on tour in Europe. And we decided that the second album, we said, forget all these big studios. I'm going to record it in my uncle's basement. So the album that you love so much, The Score, was done in my uncle's basement. The entire album was done because I was one of those kids at the age of 14. I used to go to Sam Ash and read every manual I can until they found out I had no money and they kicked me out. And I kid you not, I was back in there the next day. So by the time I was in the basement in '96 working on The Score, I was listening to a lot of Pink Floyd, right? The Wall. The reason I was listening to Pink Floyd, The Wall, I couldn't really afford the equipment, but there was a sound solution that I was looking for called binaural. So the idea would be like, how can I create binaural without having the binaural microphones? So if anybody has a copy of The Score, how many people here has the Fugees, The Score? Let me see, show of hands. All right, cool. And for anybody else who's like, what are they talking about? You should go check it out. It's one of the coolest hip hop albums. So if you go back on The Score and you try to play any instrument to Killing Me Softly, it will be merely impossible. You have to detune your instrument, because what I'm using in Killing Me Softly is just a sine wave, because I couldn't afford a Fender Rhodes, but I knew that I would be able to trick the neuro. So when you go back, you listen to Killing Me Softly, what you're gonna hear is you're gonna have to detune your instrument, right? Because the brain registers static, right, before the idea of sound. So I think on that note, you motherfuckers are saying, okay, Clef is worthy to have this conversation now, right? Okay, good. All right. So on that note, I want to start with the new project, which is called Wyclef Goes Back to School. So the idea of Wyclef Goes Back to School is, it's a new album I'm working on. But with this album, what I want to do is, I want to level the playing field out, because I feel like what's going on now with the record companies, if there's even such a word, is that they are looking at the analytics and the data that's clearly on YouTube, on Instagram, and this is how they're pulling most of their big artists. So what happens is a lot of it is fly by night. You're missing out on some of the best talent. How did Beyonce get discovered? I was minding my business one day in 1997, smoking a joint, and I get a call, and they're like, yo, man, we got these 4 girls. We need you to come to this hotel and listen to them in a room, right? Keep in mind, we don't have no YouTube yet. I have to physically show up. And now I'm in this room, and it's 4 girls, and they're like, Clef, what do you want us to sing for you? And I'm like, okay, I'm from the church, sing a church song. And Beyonce starts the belt, the group starts the belt. I give them their first hit, which is called No, No, No. This was Destiny Child's first hit, you know what I mean? So if Beyonce's watching this, you owe me a Lamborghini, you left me for Jay-Z, I need my Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? This is true. It's true. So I want to embark on this journey to go back to the physicality of being in these rooms and searching for a level of talent that's not necessarily on the data yet. So this idea of why Wyclef Goes Back to School is we have been touring, and as we tour, we go to different schools and we do what's called Battle of the Bands. And these are some of the incredible kids that are on this stage. Oh, who put my high school picture? Not good. So the key would be my DNA, right, is coming up. I was born in Haiti, and the first theory to me to sound was just being in a village. Like when I was in the village, I barely had food, but I had the idea of imagination. So when I would hear thunder and lightning, we would run outside and start to play. So to me, this was the orchestra. So by the time I got to Brooklyn, New York City, I was already 10 years old. And by the time I was 13, it's funny, I'm looking at this picture in high school, because we was the other kids that didn't only say we was gonna rap, we said that we was gonna play the instruments. So the idea is to show kids that we appreciate their level of talent by people like me. You know, we need people like Jay-Z, people like Kanye, people like Diddy, people who curating the culture to use the physicality again to go back and recruit some of this talent that we're discovering. So in this tape, what happens is, what if I take someone who has 20 million views now and I put it against like a young man here who's just playing guitar and it's your first time hearing it? How are you gonna judge it? Are you gonna judge it by the analytics when you hear it for the first time? Or are you gonna judge it by how you feel and how the music makes you feel? So this is the idea of what we wanna do with the Wyclef Goes Back to School. So the whole tape is almost finished. So if there's any college kids here that feels like they want to make the next Wyclef mixtape, when I look at my clock and I got 1 minute left, I'm going to let you take the stage to just rip this place apart, because that's how talent is discovered. Now, what you're looking at is some of the artists that we're working with. There's one, Jazzy Amra, who's on one side. She's from the Dominican Republic, but grew up in the Bronx. Very interesting story, because her mom, she lived in a shelter home with her mom under rehab. Once again, this is a story that I have to discover, not online, but when I actually sit with the artist. And when she sings, she sounds like a young Mary J. Blige with soul. The second one is Rachel. She's inspiring to be Adele. The third one is Maura Mack. She reminds me of Janis Joplin with those kind of vocals. And this is all real time. Now, if you look at this picture, you're gonna see 2 guitars. Very cool. The Flying V. Do any people here play guitars? Okay, my peoples. So we have, I'm gonna make guitars cool again, trust me. We have the Flying V and we have the acoustic guitar. So I'm in the process of developing the first hip hop guitar, right? And thank you for the one clap, right? So, because the rest of y'all is like, what the fuck is a hip hop guitar, right? So let's get into it. So the idea of what would make something, such an instrument, a hip-hop guitar, is there's a few components when we talk about the word hip-hop. I think the word is misunderstood. The word hip-hop is literally fusion. It's just another word for eclectic. Now, I want you to really think about what other form of music could you literally mix anything with in the world? Hip-hop, you could mix it with Bach. You could mix it with freaking country music. Oh, y'all think I'm tripping, right? You gotta know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. Know when to walk away. See, I'm mixing it. So the genesis of this fusion really all comes from jazz. And I think this is the part that we're missing. So the first part of a hip hop guitar for me as someone who studied jazz would be, what would the sheet music sound like and feel like so a kid could pick it up very quick through AR, right? So with hip hop, every increment of loops, whether if you listen in the Kanye, Wyclef, Dr. Dre, is all 4 bars. So if you say, play Wu-Tang Clan through AR, bow, now, 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 bow, now, 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 loop it up, pick it up. So this is, I'm watching my daughter as she does her tutorials on YouTube. I could be like, yo, Angelina, I need you to learn this Bach. Man, Dad, I ain't gonna learn no Bach. That's for old people. Then I see her sitting down in the piano and she's going, bang, bong, 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 bang, bang, bong, 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 bong. And I'm like, what's that? Dad, you don't know what that is? That's Hotline Blink from Drake. Man, Dad, you terrible. So what happens is, so with this guitar, the kids they're volunteered to play exactly what they want to play. The front of the guitar will be a full-blown acoustic guitar, string guitar, because as a guitar player, I want all the guitar players to understand, I ain't creating Guitar Hero, dude. It's real strings. You have to get down and play. When you reverse the guitar this way, it turns into a drum machine. So literally, you're able to be like, dang, loop, flip. I ain't gonna tell you how to do the flip yet, because I don't want nobody to steal my idea. Then you know. So I definitely will have the alpha ready in like 12 months. And for me, I don't have like money like Jay-Z and P. Diddy yet, you know what I'm saying? And I'm paying for this shit. It's costing me a lot of money. But I love the idea of taking the risk and coming up with something that I feel is gonna be a new instrument that's gonna revolutionize the game. So meet the students. These are some of the students that will be featured on this next mixtape. What I love about these kids is the diversity. For me, that's another thing that I feel that we're missing is when you turn on the radio, all right, you're always gonna have one style of music that's killing the radio. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I feel like the level of the playing field is not balanced. So when you look at this, you might be like, oh, here we go. Clef is trying to create another Destiny Child. I see 3 girls. You might be right. But what we have here is we have what's called a curation of incredible talent. What I like to do is to send maybe a preview. This is what I love about technology. So maybe let's make a deal. So after I leave today, I'm gonna just set up a SoundCloud, right? And this SoundCloud will maybe, let me ask the manager, could I do that? Could I set up a SoundCloud teaser with 7 or 8 parts of the students? Yeah, she don't agree with it, but we're gonna do it anyway. So what I'm gonna do is, so let's get a name for the SoundCloud, right? So what do we want to name it? Yeah, I know that part. Let's add something else, man. Okay, so let's call it Elevate Wyclef Goes Back to School. Could we do that? All right, so what we'll do is, in the next couple of days where Elevate Goes Back to School, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a snippet of each of these artists so that you could get a chance to hear what they're doing. And if you like what they're doing, automatically it's discovery. And you're able to go back and listen to some of their music. Right here is basically, they said, all of these kids that have worked with from, anyone who knows who Young Thug is? Cool, cool. And what about Kodak Black? Dope. And for everybody who's like, Kodak, what do we use it for, to take pictures? And why is the thug very young? A little hip hop humor. So these are some of the kids that are like new millennial rappers that are moving the needle. So what I want to make sure is on this new tape while I work with it, I would like to hear some of these new kids against some of these well-established artists. And I think for me, this is important. That will help balance the playing field out. So for anybody who wants to check out Young Thug has a song. He's barely 24. One of his most famous songs is called Wyclef Jean. I ain't making this shit up. It's real. So, and check out Kodak Black. You know, he just got out of prison. No, I'm not making that up either. So I always encourage the young kids, man, let's try to stay out the prison. It's not a cool thing, man. So here's I got 3 minutes and 17 seconds left, so I ain't gonna make this shit boring for y'all. So don't forget, before I leave, there's a few things we talked about. One is the Wyclef Goes Back to School mixtape. We're gonna set up a SoundCloud. Per what you said, we're gonna set that up. The focus also will be the hip hop guitar. The alpha for that will be ready in a couple of, I would say like the next 12 months. I heard October 17th, y'all gonna be legalizing weed up in here. I heard. So the cool thing about that is that's my birthday. It is. I'm really not making it up. It's really my birthday. Y'all can check it out, October 17th. I mean, the year, we lie about the year a little bit. I'm not really my age. Puffy be lying about his age. Everyone lies, but definitely October 17th. So check this out. So the bottom line to my presentation today was the idea of leveling the playing field a little more. Like, I want to see more tech-savvy solutions that level talent and the idea of discovery. So on YouTube, I'll be creating a show called Global Gumbo. And with Global Gumbo, follow me on my YouTube page. I'll be bringing talent from all parts of the world. I got 1 minute and 46 seconds left. When it comes to freestyle, you know I'm the best. Trust me, man. I'm the great. Let's look back here, and it says elevate. My name is Wyclef Jean. I flipped the language. 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Let me freestyle in Spanish. Listen. Mira, amiga, buenos días, señorita. ¿Cómo está usted y su familia? Estoy bien en el micrófono. Espero que todos están bien como yo. He looking at me like this. You still ain't convinced. I got 11 seconds left. 1:11, let me freestyle in French. Listen. Quand je marche dans la vallée de la mort, je ne crains aucun mal, car tu es avec moi. Quand je fais l'amour, on m'appelle Romeo, c'est l'histoire de ma vie, toujours le plus haut. Americans say, how you doing? German people say, wie geht's? When I go to Germany, they say, wie steht's? If you love hip-hop, let's have some Spaß. Tell me, baby girl, wie wären das? 43 seconds left. Yes, I'm that Fugees, man. Some heard Fugees. They thought I was Japanese. Ichi, ni, sang, chi, go no ko shichi, ha, chi. I'm Wyclef, man. I'm that refugee. Trust me, man. Man, I'm that mean, and we gonna smoke some weed on October 17th. Thank you, y'all.